Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View. Happy Friday, man. 11th of October. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you enjoyed the international break so far. Hope you enjoyed England's performance last night. It was absolutely fantastic. Lee Carsley in. Play all the best players, get the best results, get the best performances. That's what we want to see. But at Man United, the news keeps newsing away from the manager. Just when you think, you know what, at least, we'll just focus on this one thing. No. The injury plague has struck once again. Players are dropping like flies. The defense, we've got defensive dilemmas again, and there's a lot to talk about. But as we always do, you guys check in. Make sure you hit a like on the video. Let us know where you're watching from. Who have we got straight in before Owen introduces us all in as well? Kristen says, good morning all. Big up UV fam, says Simon McGill. Big up UV fam, says Jonathan. Good morning, says Ponty. Matt says, morning all. Big up Minna. Minna's actually, well, I think she's still somewhere in the world. Big up Minna.
I hope so. If she's outside the planet Earth, that would be quite that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Oh, big up Rich as well, my guy, man. Says big up UV family morning. All Tabrez there every morning as usual. Says big up. He's actually saying that to Minna, but I'm sure he means it to us as well. Javid says Beck the manager. 5 wins in a row. And Carsley out, says Kristen as well. So there's
was he ever in?
Was he ever in? We're going to be talking about the latest United injuries and when some players could be back. Some players have just got injured as well. Mazraoui's absence update as well. And the INEOS silence still continues, which I suppose is probably the least shocking out of the lot. But the injuries have come back. And the most notable one, Owen, is Mazraoui.
Yes, the Mazraoui stuff. This was interesting. We kind of touched on this yesterday. There had been some rumours and rumblings that there was something going on with him. Of course, we knew he pulled out of the Morocco international duty, but we were kind of waiting for more clarification on it. And we did get it. And Man United kind of put this out to all of the journalists. I'm sure when they saw something in their inbox from Man United, they thought, oh, finally, news. It wasn't the news necessarily maybe they were expecting. So Chris Wheeler says here that Noussair Mazraoui had a minor corrective procedure after suffering heart palpitations. That's why we didn't really want to speculate too much on it yesterday. Very serious thing. It says the precautionary procedure for a relatively common condition is said to have been a success, and he will be available again in the next few weeks. Now, his recovery will not take as long as speculated, which was 2 months. This is where it gets into quite sort of conflicting information on all of this. Although Man United are not putting a time frame on his return, they are saying, just for an example, to see some of the conflicting information, you get one saying a couple of weeks' time, possibly even as soon as playing Brentford when we come back from international break, would be about 2 weeks or so, wouldn't it? Whereas you get the Mirror saying that Man United are hopeful he'll be fit by the end of November. So bit of a difference there. That goes into that kind of that 2 to 4 weeks. But shout out to United Menace because he actually, called it before it even came out and said that this thing's going to happen, basically, and it did happen. And it's just kind of it's a weird spate of injuries at the moment, or absences for United at the moment, because you've got obviously this Mazraoui stuff, and hopefully that's all fine now. He has had cardiac procedures in the past. United are insisting that they knew about that, and this is a different thing than the thing that had happened in the past.
Like a routine thing with what he's got. Apparently, this is.
They're saying they were aware of it and it's fine. You've obviously got Harry Maguire got injured in the last game. So that's a defensive injury. There was some stuff yesterday about Lisandro Martinez, about him having a physical issue that was causing him discomfort. That was coming from Argentinian media. Then you get other reports suggesting, no, he's fine. He's going to play for Argentina in this international break. We know that Alejandro Garnacho pulled out of the Argentina squad because he's got a knee problem, which again, they're saying it's kind of sort of precautionary. It's fine. We know that Kobe pulled out of the England squad. He's got a problem. Didn't stop him from playing against Villa, but clearly he was carrying something. So there's a lot of these kind of injuries here. Ahmad, which I think is illness, they were saying was why he pulled out.
Yeah,
and then on top of that, of course, with the defensive stuff, we're still waiting on, right? So when we come back from international break, is that when we're going to get the finally the fabled return of Luke Shaw, as well as Terrell Malacia. So Lenny Yoro, he's back on. He was on one of those treadmills with like the bubble around him, you know what I mean? So he's kind of out of the boot and starting to run again a bit. His return was sort of earmarked to be around November-ish kind of time, wasn't it?
Yeah, he looks like he's on track for that.
So you've got all of these kind of wish-washy. Flex has also pulled his neck in the shower.
Yeah, if you lot, sorry guys, if you lot see me doing like, just looking like I'm in a neck brace, but I'm not actually in a neck brace, everyone can sympathize with this. You know, when like nothing's wrong, everything's normal, and you might turn your neck, you might raise your arm, you might be in the shower, just, you know, washing off some shower gel, whatever, and it just goes. That's me at the moment. So if you see me with some awkward looking poses, don't be alarmed. I promise you, I'm good. It's just, well, I'm not good.
The best thing was seeing him put on his watch this morning as well. He's going like this. He's going, I can't do it. I can't do it.
And you know what's mad? I said to Owen, there's so much things that you do every day that until you can't do the slightest of thing, you go, I really need that move. I really need to do that. I need to be able to look down like quite a lot during the day. I need to be able to look to the left or up, or like, it's not until one bit of movement goes. And on actually a bit more something, it makes you just really grateful for like being fully healthy. Like, well, I can't do it. Like,
you just strain your neck.
Honestly, I can't move, bro. I got no like movement.
I can only imagine about you strain your neck in the shower, and then you go into. It puts things in perspective, yeah. But
it does.
You'll be all right. You just
Owen, your neck. No, as my grandma says, give thanks. Yeah, you have to give thanks for life, and basically that is just waking up and being able to do what you do without any ailments.
Look, even you're doing this.
I can't do it. It feels like I'm literally in a neck brace and I've got to do that when really I'm not. But I'll get over it, man.
I'm surprised you haven't got the neck brace on this morning.
That's like, if I had one, Vince McMahon one.
Yeah, put it on. Yeah,
but yeah.
But so it's not just the Man United players; it's also Flex. He's injured this morning as well. He's up for 2 to 3 weeks. Oh, and actually, an injuries too. Mason Mount. Still don't know what's going on with him. Do we? We don't. No. Which you said the moment that Erik ten Hag, when he was talking before the Porto game. And they were like, what's going on, Mason Mount? And he went, well, head injury. And he's got a bit of a knock.
Yeah,
he just slid that little bit in there. And everyone was sort of like, what? And I think because it was so late, the press conference, everyone went,
no one could be bothered. Whatever. And Mason Mount obviously put up the picture of like, I'm fine, just a couple of stitches.
Oh.
So we're like,
okay, we just lost 3-0. We just lost 3-0. And he went, I'm fine. And everyone's like, yeah, we know, Mason, you're fine. You're fine. And you're not.
I just. So you know what, Owen? Right, this is kind of negative, but it's just how I feel. Because we're so rubbish, right? It's almost like the insult to injury. But I'm just like, well, when the full team was here and we were trying to get a bit of continuity, we were still rubbish. Like yeah, now Lindelof's going to have to play probably right back, but Dalot left back.
By the way, Flex. You know when your mic's a bit fuzzy and you've got to refresh,
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, do it early. Flecknology. Oh, you know, his neck's injured and his microphone's injured as well.
Microphone's injured as well.
Yeah, exactly. I will see. It's one of those ones where I can't hear it. I have to check it.
Yes.
It's better, much better.
All right, cool, wicked. Like, you know, like when you're kind of done with a lot of stuff and you're like, well, everyone was fit just before this, barring a couple, and it's like, even without this little mini crisis now, it was going rubbish. You didn't know who to play out of Mazraoui and De Ligt, and out of De Ligt and Martinez, took them 2 out. You know, Lindelof making appearances again, Eriksen's playing again. Like, it's like whatever, man. Like, I wish these players back. I don't wish injuries on any player. I want them to be healthy, but I'm like, come on, man, just whatever. I don't care who plays anymore. And I know that sounds really bad, yeah, but I'm like, I'm past it. Like, oh my god, Mazraoui's injured, which obviously, like you said, on a serious note, with with the sensitive nature of what it is and how serious that can be, we're really happy to hear that it's like routine, and hopefully, like the main thing is that he just takes the time as he needs to make sure that that he's okay. Seeing Harry Maguire go off against Villa, and then you're like, it's not like the manager's like, that's going to be the reason why we struggle. It's just going to give him another excuse.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. I'm not having. Put it this way, yeah. If we come back from international break and we have some bad results, I'm not having. Yeah, but we've got injuries because we have already established here, compared to last season and how this season has started, that the injuries are actually haven't really changed all that much. It's not that we didn't have injuries last season, because I think other people, when we sort of said like, oh, the last season injuries are an excuse, it's not as if injuries weren't a real thing. We had a lot of injuries last season. Yes. That is absolutely true. But what we have seen is, even when we have had at the beginning stages of this season a near enough fully fit squad at his disposal, as a manager, you very rarely have a fully fit squad. There's at least 1 or 2 injuries, but largely a fully fit squad. There isn't really any difference. So when we're coming out of the international break, if we do have some negative results, we're going, yeah, but injuries, no. It will not
the reason.
Will not wash. And I think the only positive with these ones is it would appear that all of them largely are like, the Garnacho one, Cobby one. You'd be surprised if they weren't playing after the international break because they were taken out.
I think they would be all right. Yeah.
Maguire, another one where it's like
for a bit.
Well, the Maguire one, they're like, well, it could be a couple of weeks, but it's not like he's going to be long term or anything like that.
But he won't be back for Brentford, I don't think.
Maybe not. But then again, this is how bad it is. It shouldn't even matter because he's meant to be like 4th choice or 3rd choice centre back or whatever. It's not meant to be in the high priority.
Exactly.
And just also as well, this is kind of the sort of side part of it, is that this international break is ridiculous anyway. What's the fucking point? Like, this is
Nations League, mate. Trophy.
Who wants that? Who cares for that? Honestly, it's just.
And the worst thing is England. We got relegated.
We're in the
shit Nations League.
We're in the lesser one.
It's not even like you can go, oh, well, I know it's a friendly, glorified friendly, but, get to play Portugal, play against Bruno or something, Ronaldo, that'd be fun. Or, play Netherlands and, Italy and Spain and, France, maybe some decent. No, we got relegated, mate. And no disrespect, because actually we got absolutely destroyed last night. But we're playing Finland, we're playing Greece, we're playing Ireland now, because we're in League 2. We're in the Championship of the Nations League. Sorry, so what's the point? And it's you see Arsenal fans yesterday. Oh, this is Saka's got.
Saka, yeah.
Why don't they just? Because Arsenal fans are so angry that some players they see other teams where the players pull out. And they're like, why does Saka never do it? Like, just we need him.
But he has, hasn't he? He has pulled out of England duty before, So it just, again, I do sympathise to an extent.
No fan wants it. No fan.
Exactly,
wants it.
I do sympathise to an extent because it does feel like not even just Man United, just across the board. The only thing of substance that happens in international breaks is people get hurt.
Is it injuries?
people just get hurt, and even more sometimes frustrating is that injuries you don't even know about till they come back. So they come back and then they go, oh, so and so is injured. And you go, what? What happened to it? Oh, yeah, international break. And you go, oh, was it something really important then? They were qualifying for a World Cup or European Championship, Copa America. No, they were just playing in the Nations League. You go, really? Really?
I think Cup of Nations. I think Africa Cup of Nations is qualifying. I think that might be, to be fair.
Yeah, well, if it's qualification for a legitimate major, continent.
I think maybe the South Americans might be as well.
But Nations League,
terrible.
Honestly,
Nations League is the worst. Nations League is the worst. But okay, if we're looking forward, then Owen, because we have to look at the card we've been dealt. Which, to be fair, we don't really know the full hand yet, do we? We know some of it. Let's sort of just explore how we could look coming out of this, because there's one thing of players being brought out for precautions, but then sometimes there's sort of the extra game as well of he did pull out through precautions from international break, but the Brentford game would probably leave you out just to make sure, because then we've got to fly to Turkey and then it's so is it Mazraoui? I think we can count him out.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it was like he's fine, I think they would still.
Even if it was
you'd
like
want to
touch and go,
exercise
you
extra
wouldn't want to
caution.
risk that, would you? Yeah.
So that Luke Shaw, that don't even discuss. He ain't going to be back for Brentford.
Yeah.
No. He ain't even come back, and he hasn't even come back and done team training. So he's like, whenever he is back,
Malacia's in rondos. Where's Shaw?
Rondo's, mate. Malacia's on the bag. He's doing punch bags. Doing
so that,
you know what I mean? He's doing high kicks, high knees, punch, everything.
Yeah.
He'll be back before Luke Shaw.
You see the thing with him with when he was again part of the warm up, he was doing like some stuff with Cobby, and they were putting the ball back
keeping the ball up.
And one of them, I don't know if it was on his bad knee, but when he took the ball on the knee, did the big let it come down on the knee, and I was like, that is a bit of a flex. That is, you know what I mean? This knee's good.
Yeah.
this knee, look at this, bang.
Bang.
Yeah. I was like,
he's back.
Malacia, nice. Yeah. So
he'll be back before sure. But
I tell you what is wild actually about that whole situation. And actually get your prediction in the chat of this. Who will play more games for Manchester United this season? João Malacia or Luke Shaw?
Well, because I said Dallo will play more at left back than Luke Shaw this season.
But out of those two, who will play more games at left back this season, Malacia or Shaw? I genuinely think it could be Malacia, but
The only thing that works in Luke Shaw's favour is that when he does actually get fit, whatever that means, Eric will try to play him quicker than Malacia.
But he's got more chance, of breaking down with anything. As opposed to Malacia, where it would largely.
I don't know that the Malacia one. He's been out so long. We don't.
But that's what I mean. But that's what I mean. It might be just like, well, it's just don't have anything for the knee or whatever. Like I'm less concerned about Malacia pulling his calf than Luke Shaw.
Yeah, Luke. Yeah, you're right. But again, though, like Dr. Andre told us, when you're out for so long, like Malacia has been, he could now start picking up calves, quads, hamstrings. Malacia could, because he's been out. Like, how long's he been out? Is it 18 months?
He has. The last kit we saw him playing in was the kit with the collar.
His first season.
Yeah.
So did he get injured in that season, or did he get injured in the summer of the end of that season?
I think he got injured towards, from what I understand,
he weren't on pre-season.
Towards the end of that season, I think he started to have this knee problem.
Yeah.
He then came back for pre-season last season.
Oh yeah, because we saw him training with Rashi or something.
And they tried to like rehab. They were like, "Do we rehab or do we do?" And they were like, "Right, actually, it should be surgery." And then it was like, that surgery has been shit.
Yeah.
Another surgery.
Because where was we? We went to Vegas, San Diego, and
New York,
MetLife, and New York. Yeah. So he didn't go to that tour. Yeah, that was it. He didn't go to that tour. Then he was out the whole season.
Yeah.
Then it gets into this tour, just gone. Didn't go on that, and he's been out obviously till October. Yeah, so that's from August to August. Then, so that's a year.
Yeah, it's like 18 months.
And now so it is about 18 months. I don't know, when you're out that long. The thing that goes in Luke Shaw's favour is obviously it didn't work because he broke down afterwards, but he got fit enough to play some games in the Euros.
Wow.
And then look at him.
Flex, we're close.
I'm going to say Malacia.
Luke Shaw hasn't played for Man United since February, so that time's adding up quick, isn't it?
You know what, Owen?
You know what I mean?
And Malacia's younger. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say Malacia.
It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. When you really think about it, you go, actually,
it's mad. It's mad.
Or it could just be equal, which again, it really shouldn't be.
It's that par. Yeah, we're not going to have a sustained left back for the season. We're not. It's going to be that. Like, Dallo's going to be the main left. It has been, and he will have to be, unless they do something in January and get a Regulion type thing. Then just to help. Do you think that could happen? Someone on a free just to.
Well, there was rumors,
a 6-month loan, maybe.
There was rumors yesterday, wasn't there, about Man United trying to bring back Alvaro Fernandez from Benfica. I think there were some rumors in Portugal that some big, your Real Madrids and your Barcelonas, etc., were interested in him. I don't know how real that is, but it's one of the. You know what? Sometimes in football, and particularly Man United, there are decisions which, at the time, you go, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah. And then, like a year or so later, you go, that really doesn't make a lot of sense. And that feels like the Alvaro Fernandez one, isn't it? In the sense of maybe people couldn't necessarily predict what would happen in terms of the left-back crisis that we'd be facing for the next year and a bit. But it just seems more and more strange. And you do think whether or not he wasn't good enough for Man United or wasn't up the standard, he would have been playing. You know, he would have got game time, and then you never know what could have happened. And that just seems such a strange decision. But that could probably sum up the entirety of the situation at left back for the last year, of a strange situation, or strange decisions rather, because like I said, strange decision maybe to sell Alvaro Fernandez, strange decision to let Reguilon go back in January to Spurs, strange decision this past summer to be like, we're just not going to get a left back, actually. It'll be fine.
Where is Reguilon? Is he still at Brentford on loan, or did he go back to Spurs?
Spurs.
Not playing?
I think he's still at Spurs.
Just not getting in the team, just like a Chilwell thing, just frozen out. I think he is, isn't it?
Reguilon.
Did he get a last-minute loan?
Still at Spurs.
Really? Just sitting there, not getting in match day?
Yeah.
Oh, just bring him back in January, man. Just bring back Reguilon. Seriously. I'd ring his agent now and say, listen, we're going to come in Jan, so get fit. Get ready. Just bring him back. Just for 6 months. Ray Carl says, we in problems. One recognised fullback. This is what we've been talking about the last sort of 15, 20 minutes. Shout out to you, Ray. Ray also says, old age flex. Yeah, because got no movement today. Next gone. Footy Hub, member of the latest member of UV Members Club as well. Big up to you. And so welcome to the family, Footy Hub. And Dominic, big up to you. Says, really loved your video with Muppeteers. Yeah, it was good catch up with James yesterday. People really enjoy when we do catch up. Says, look forward to more of that. And Owen, did your dad buy Erik ten Hag's t-shirt, his shirt or something this year? Love to you both.
He did not.
Did he buy anyone?
I'm not going to say.
Owen? Right. No. Stop the show. First of all, stop the show because we need more likes. I just saw a Liverpool fan drop a like. Shout out to Tanaji. Says, I hit the like. You'll never walk alone, he said. I mean, that last bit's a disgrace and cheat. But what is a disgrace and cheat is, guys, we've got even Liverpool fans in here dropping a like. So if you're a United fan in here, which I know most of you are, and you haven't smashed a like on the video, please do it now. Even the Liverpool fans are coming in here, who are welcome right now in this time of peace during the international break. As long as they don't chat rubbish. And they're liking the video. Big up to you, Tanaji. Thank you for doing that. And you guys, let's get with it. Because 82% of you have said you've liked the video. And my maths isn't amazing, but there's 1,000 people watching and only about 200 people have liked the video, which would make it 20% of you. So you're all liars. You're all liars.
Well, in fairness, in the poll, it's nearly only 200 votes have said that, which lines up to the likes. So if you haven't already, click the like button. True. Like I said, 1,000 people watching. Percentage.
Yeah, please. Let's get to that. Please. Shout out to you, Dominic. Right. Yeah, there's a little pause and play. Owen. We're not going to forget. Right. Because you said last year, you said you're going to have a word.
I did. But I can't control him.
Right. Well,
I can't control
you need to reveal
him.
What's happened. Who has who? Wait, no. Do you want us to guess?
People have guessed it in the chat for what it's worth. But they've put a lot of people in there, so,
Let me guess. Is it who's been terrible? Is it Lenny Oro?
I don't know. No, it's not Lenny Oro.
Is it who's just struggling? Is it Rasmus?
No.
Is it Ugarte? No, that would have been near the end.
No, too late.
Too late. Mason Mount, I think he already got, didn't he? And you went, don't ever do that again.
I don't think he got Mason Mount last year.
Did he get Xerxes?
He might have. He might have. But the other one's worse.
Mazraoui? No. Evans?
No. Think of the one person, if you were thinking this, going, just don't get this person.
Anthony?
No. Because the logic is...
Rashford?
The logic is he had Rashford last year.
In his worst ever year.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw?
No.
Bruno?
No. Because, again, the logic is that whoever he gets on the back of the shirt, it's over. And what's the one
Kobe
person?
Mainu?
It might have been. It might have been Kobe.
Currently pulled out the squad. Getting run past, got the most yellow cards this season.
It might have been Kobe. It might have been. And when he told me that, I went, I can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe you've done it. You know what power you have, and you've chosen to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, Cobby, I'm so sorry for you, bro. He doesn't know, because Cobby doesn't know it yet. We've got to find a way to get the message to him, bro. Because Cobby's probably thinking, why am I getting all these yellow cards? I've got the most of the league.
Yeah.
Why am I got to pull out of international break? Why am I getting run past? I'm getting targeted a bit this year. It's been a bit more difficult for me this year. I haven't been at my, he doesn't know this is the reason, bro. Oh, Owen, man, you gotta stop this, man.
I've tried.
You gotta try harder, bro. You gotta try harder.
I've tried.
Take his bank cards or log him out of Apple Pay or something so he can't get stuff, bro. Take control of his finances.
He's tried. He's crazy. Last night, yeah. So this is actually true. This will sum him up, yeah. So from whenever I go to see him, I'm still logged into his door cam at his place, right? You know, you get your Ring doorbell or whatever. And last night I saw some notifications pop up, and I saw him, and this was late at night. I saw him outside with his phone up to the sky. And I thought,
trying to get reception?
No, I thought I was like, so I messaged him. I went, "Are you all right? Like, are you having like a breakdown? Why are you taking pictures of the night sky?" Turns out it was the Northern Lights. There was a rational explanation.
Oh yeah, because a lot of people.
But I thought he was having a breakdown or whatever. But
Owen, right? There's some Bayern insider. I want to just look into this. FC Bayern, which is Christian Falk, but FC Bayern insider. This could be a load of rubbish. MUFC.
Too cool stuff.
Yeah, they've just said if Eriksen. I missed out the keyword. If
reflex.
I swear to you, yeah, that's how you know my head is just like he needs to go. I literally just missed out the word if. I just went Erik ten Hag is sacked by Manchester United. I swear I just missed out the if. But they do say that if Erik ten Hag is sacked by Man United, Thomas Tuchel will be one of the top candidates to replace him. Right? Actually, that's just not news. We know that.
It's the same thing that Samuel Lucas was kind of basically saying, and what have you. I mean, I don't know if you saw this yesterday as well. I think it was from The Independent. They were sort of saying that, and I saw Sky were referencing it this morning in their sort of paper talk thing anyway, not like for their own reporting. And they were sort of saying that, Sir Jim possibly has asked the Manchester United hierarchy to almost draw up contingency plans or alternatives.
Get ready.
If indeed they were to sack Erik ten Hag. And obviously largely people have brushed it off going, it's nothing. But when you actually do take a step back and think about it, that might be the logical conclusion that they came to on Tuesday, which is, look, we're not going to do anything now for whatever reason. Maybe one of them is that it's like we don't feel prepared enough, or we don't feel ready enough. We don't have enough pieces in place if we were to make that call. So let's see this next batch of games. But meanwhile, whilst this next batch of games is going on, let's now put a plan in place if indeed we were to pull that trigger. Because like I think the Muppeteers were saying to you yesterday, James was kind of saying to you, sort of saying that actually they've been caught a little bit cold. You know what I mean by this, in the sense of clearly with the stuff they did over the summer, they were not expecting this. So naturally, they're like, okay, then what would we do now? And this is where I do agree with what people are saying, that they shouldn't sack Erik ten Hag with no plan, basically, in place. You know what I mean? They shouldn't sack Erik ten Hag and be like, well, we have no idea what we're going to do. You know, and when I say no plan, even if it's like, well, we'll just give it to Ruud for a bit and we'll figure out. You sort of go, well, no, there needs to be a bit more kind of strategy with that. So
when he said Ruud to the end of the season to get the guy you really want in the summer and attack it, I went, well, you know what? Out of just me, I'm just where Tuchel's at personally. I know a lot of people disagree with that. That's fine. I'm just there. So I didn't really allow myself to think like, Ruud to the end of the season, no matter what happens, if you take more licks, take more licks. But, you're planning long term. It is what it is. And if Ruud was in there, I know football fans are fickle. So like if we lost, loads of games, 4-5-0, everyone would say, no, he's terrible. Just like, but the likeliness of people turning on Ruud when they know he's just getting us through to the end of the season, kind of like it was a lot shorter. Lampard, yeah, exactly, Lampard, because like Chelsea fans were like, well, shit, this is, but they still knew like we're going to get an actual manager at the end of the season. I remember when Freddie Ljungberg took over Arsenal, I know that was it was only a few games.
When it
but
comes down, just touches the grass.
Yeah. and I remember he was doing press conferences. I think Per Mertesacker was the second then. I can't remember. And he was just like, I mean, I've just been thrown in. He was just so vocal about like, I've got a fucking clue here. I'm struggling here.
But even like Freddie,
You know what I mean?
he was like, well, you know, I'd never know. I'd love the job, obviously. And everyone's like,
Yeah, fuck it, you're not getting it. So like, but if it was Rude and we know where we're at, and they said to us like, we'll see how it goes. They just said till the end of the season when Man United will look for a long-term successor. Most fans.
They said that about Ollie though, didn't they?
Yeah, but no, that wasn't this regime. No, they won't do it. I don't think INEOS will be stupid enough to do that. I really don't. Especially when James was sort of talking about it. I was like, actually, that's true. Because some of the guys that have displayed loyalty that they would kind of think would want this type of job, you know, Kieran McKenna or Emery or, you know, I mean, Xabi Alonso is a far-fetched, but, you know, you never know. People like that, you can't get them now. You might be able to get, I think you'd be able to get Kieran McKenna now, I think, if you went in for him. I think you would.
Hey, Hansi Flick, he came back as Bayern assistant manager. Manager got sacked, and then he was the interim for a bit.
Yeah,
then he won everything.
He won it all, mate. Won it all. You know, so I think we can't rule that out. And I do, and it was the first time. It was the first time out of like this rage where I've been in, where I've just been angry and annoyed. Right. It was the first time I went, okay, well, there's a bit of rationality that James is talking about. If you are INEOS, you don't have a plan right now, that's bad because he said they basically didn't think they would have to change him this early. They thought, I mean, by October, a couple of months into the season, like, and in this whole new regime, new start, we need to have time. We might have some ups and downs, but we shouldn't be in a position by sort of October where we genuinely need to sack him. And I think that's probably what's happened, where it's a genuine question. They go, well, we're not really prepared for this. So actually, right, now let's start putting our minds together. We've got some contingencies from the summer-ish that we could reignite, but definitely not right now in this international break, day after Villa. We can't. So we know where it's looking like it's heading. Let's get our deck in order. Let's start, you know, planning. Rude is there. Everyone said it. As soon as Rude arrived here and how he is on the touchline, everyone just went, if it goes really bad, you've got him there. You can just say to him, take the team for 2 months, take the team to the end of the season, do whatever. But maybe people thought it might be Christmas or something like that. Not now. Not now.
That's why I'm saying and people did brush off that report yesterday saying, that Sir Jim has asked the football leadership team to kind of get these plans together in case. And the more I thought about it, I went, actually, that does make a bit of sense. There still might be this reluctance to make that decision because of some of the things people are saying. Well, it's still early and we'll see what happens the next few games, blah, blah, blah. But good business is to be thinking of all possible outcomes. And you go, right, the outcome that we would like in the next couple of weeks is that things do get a bit better and we start picking up results. We start going up the table. I think that's what every United fan would want, would see us be winning. But they would be very naive, and this would be bad management if they do head in the sand and don't consider any other options or don't at least be like, right, so what happens if in the next few weeks we don't want to be caught cold? We've been caught a little bit cold here. We didn't expect this, to be happening the way it's happening. So we don't feel prepared enough to make a decision right now or to make we're going to sack him and we don't know what we're going to do. A few weeks time, let's see. Let's see. And that does kind of make sense, I suppose, for me. So
yeah,
we'll see. Like we said yesterday, with all of this, time will tell. Definitely, what you can say now with some pretty certainty. Look, it's Friday in the first week of an international break. Erik ten Hag's not going anywhere. He's not.
For this bit here, he's not going anywhere.
The outrage about they haven't. I can't believe they haven't made a decision yet. They've made a decision. He's staying. He's not going anywhere.
Or the decision is no decision. Just carry on.
Exactly.
They didn't even see it as we need to go into that meeting and go, is he going? Is he staying? It's like, no, we're still carrying on. There's still a plan. We have to look at what it looks like past this if it keeps going bad. But right now we stay as we are, and now we plan for post this. That's what it felt like. Yeah. We've got nearly 1,200 people watching. We want to get to over 1,200 people watching. So share the video in your group chat, share it online, hit the little share button in the corner of this video and let your friends know you're watching, etc. So we can get those numbers up. That'd be great. And we're at 312 likes. I always like to push towards 500 likes for the stream. And usually we get too far into it and forget to remind you guys. So we are at 313. let's get the 400 in the bag first and then go from there, guys, as we get more people watching, more people interacting, more people getting involved in the comments, etc., etc. And if you've got any questions and things you'd like to discuss, this is your show. It's international break as well. It's time for a little bit of a gap where we can reflect on other things that maybe if you're bored, if I tell you what, if you're bored of just Ten Hag and talking about this manager, put some questions in the chat there. What do you want to talk about? Jay has his say. He says, what did Sir Alex do in his first 3 years?
Bingo! We've got our Sir Alex reference in the morning when talking about Erik ten Hag. Tick that one off. There you go. Lovely stuff. I was actually, you know what? Speaking of my dad, I was talking to him yesterday about this, yeah. The Sir Alex Ferguson comparison stuff. Like, we were chatting about them. We were going like, and again, this is a guy that was around then. And he was like, it's a fundamentally different animal than it was back then. Back then, he was like, back then, it wasn't like, oh, if you don't get in the Champions League, your club might like melt or whatever. You know what I mean? He was like, you know, back then or whatever. He's like, you get into the Champions League if you're one of the best teams in the league, or you win the Cup Winners' Cup. You know, that's how it used to be. But the tippy top best teams got in there, and it wasn't like your lifeblood in terms of how you operate on a financial level. We're talking about now, if you don't get into the Champions League or what have you, then from a PSR point of view, you're going to get points deductions, or you're going to be forced to sell players or sell academy players, homegrown players, etc., etc. Like, it's just different. We have to wrap our minds around, like, there are some things about football that have stayed the same, but a lot of it, and we're talking again about, you know, the business and financial side of it, is totally different. Like, the comparisons they've really got to stop, because they are just cope. They are just cope. We're just reaching at different straws. It's different era, different time. Football's changed. Football's evolved. And look, between Sir Matt Busby and Sir Alex Ferguson, went for a bunch of managers. So that's not new either. Or people go, Klopp got time. Well, what happened before Jurgen Klopp? They went for a bunch of managers. They sacked Brendan Rodgers after he bottled winning the league the season before. Even with Pep, you know, with Manuel Pellegrini, they had a guy that won the league, and they went, oh, we can go get someone who we think's better. So let's not renew the contract. Let's go for someone else. It happens. With Roberto Mancini, he won the league. What was it, a season or so later? He was off because they wanted to get someone else, you know? To get to that long-term appointment, sometimes you don't find the right person immediately. You go through people. So that comparison is just, and by the way, we've done that comparison with every fucking manager we've had since Sir Alex, haven't we? Well, David Moyes, with David Moyes, Sir Alex Ferguson got time. Oh, with Jose, with Louis van Gaal, well, Sir Alex Ferguson. Well, Sir Alex Ferguson, are they all Fergie? Is that what they all are? So it's like, and again, it is, that's why I do the bingo thing. It is predictable. Like, it is, there's always, wow, Sir Alex. You go, all right, cool. But that's not the same situation. It's not.
No, it's not. Footy Hub sent in his first contribution. Big up to you, Footy Hub. And Tabra says, Carrick managed 3 games for us, and he kept it simple and was undefeated versus Tuchel, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Villarreal. His tenure was short but sweet. Yeah, I mean, look.
That was the thing, actually. Someone mentioned about Unai Emery in the chat, yeah. And I think this is the best example, right, of like reputation, stuff when it doesn't work out. If after Unai Emery, got sacked at Arsenal, and because I've seen people like, oh, yeah, bring Unai in. Unai should be the next manager. If after he got sacked at Arsenal, you said, I tell you what, Unai Emery, bring him in at Man United, you'd have been laughed at. What, good evening? Are you taking the piss? Good evening. He got sacked at PSG. He got sacked. He flopped at Arsenal. He can't do that, this, that, and the other, where he has just gone to show that sometimes it's about the right guy in the right place. And also, comparing it to the Thomas Tuchel situation, right, it's going, you can get sacked and you can still be a good manager. That should not like, oh, your reputation's sullied forever. Terrible, you know, awful. But it's just funny because, again, it's like the same reasons for not getting, say, someone like Thomas Tuchel are the same reasons they would have given to not getting Unai Emery previously.
At the time, But just because he's currently in a job, like straight after the Champions League, and you said he could be your manager.
Yeah,
Thomas Tuchel, exactly. You go, you just won the Champions League with Chelsea, mate. Oh, I tell you what, you know what I mean? When he was winning games and stuff against the big teams, you would. And look, I get it. People are like, nah, but after 2 years, this, that, and the other. But sometimes the fit just is the fit. And you have to keep exploring what that fit could be. And I hold my hands up to this. Also, the other way. I'm hell-bent on it being Thomas Tuchel. A lot of people disagree. I'm also willing to go in a direction where it's a relatively inexperienced manager. You know, like I just look. There are some things where you go absolutely not. You know, Southgate, no, just or Potter probably not. But if they did give it to Potter, which I don't want them to, people could say, listen, it's just the right fit. He was good at Brighton. He's a good coach. He just needs another chance this time. It'll be a hard sell to me because I don't believe in it. But there's a reason. The Kieran McKenna thing, again, yeah, but it's Ipswich, mate. Like, it's a different beast here. It was all a different beast. Emery, he's been at, Sporting. He's trying to get, like, what, a third title now or a fourth title? So he's got a bit of experience. It fits the mold a little bit more. But again, it's it's a big art, it's a big task. It's different. Like I'm not. What I'm saying now is right. I'm not closed off. When we was looking at Eric, it was between Eric and Poch, wasn't it? And I remember doing shows, and I said at the time, I said, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I'm wrong. I'm just saying it's just funny how things go. I said, well, I wouldn't mind Poch. I think there's much of a muchness at that time. I think they were about par, is what my thing was. And everyone's like, no, Ten Hag's the truth, and this, that, and the other. When we started winning the game after that first, you still want Poch, Fleck. You still want Poch. And I'm not saying I do want Poch now because he's, that's different. That's gone as well. But look how Eric's turned out, and he was the one that we all looked at. I don't care who you are, 98% of us, right? Because you shouldn't really talk for the whole fan base, but I'm gonna say the online fans and people in our community and people we all caught up with. What percentage, Joan? Do you think it's like 80%? Do you think it's like 80% were like, actually, but like Eric, we should get this guy?
Ten Hag. Yeah, that's the other thing.
It was a lot in it.
It's the other thing I don't get with this, the gotcha part of it. They're like, well, you wanted Eric to succeed. Yeah, everyone wanted Eric to succeed. No one's happy that like we're not doing very well. In the same way that whoever the next manager would be, you'd want them to succeed as well. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Again, that's outside of football. That's a bit of a life lesson. Sometimes it don't work out. Like sometimes, and you shouldn't be hell bent on. Well, it has to. Sometimes it doesn't. Again, we mentioned Unai Emery. Some of the best managers. Sometimes it's the wrong place at the wrong time. Stuff just doesn't work out. It is what it is. You go, it didn't work out, but somewhere it will work out. It's the same with Eric, and that goes back to my fear. The stuff I was saying about fear. Well, if he goes somewhere else, he'll be successful. Yeah, he might be. To be honest, I'm sure he probably will be. Actually, to be fair, Eric, because he's a good coach. But Man United's not the right place for him. In the same way that Unai Emery went to PSG, let's not whatever. A lot of people there didn't work out. The reason I think it's working out so well with him at Villa is it's like the perfect place for him.
And he's in total. Like when I speak to Dan Bardell, obviously massive Villa fan, podcaster, broadcaster, knows a lot about Villa.
Yeah,
he's saying one of the big reasons why it does work there is that like Unai's in total control.
Yeah, like, and they got his director of football guy in as well.
Football guy, the guys he's allowed to bring in, the money that they've got, the backing that they're giving him, and then Unai's just allowed to build exactly what he wants. And then because he is a good coach, because let's be honest, Eric's been allowed to get pretty much what he wants to. Within reason, I know we say, but he wanted Frank. He wanted Frankie, but he got Casemiro or Maguire's still here, or McTominay was still there for it. No, like he got Onana, he got De Ligt, he got Martinez, he got Anthony, he got Mason Mount. Apparently, co-signed that really wanted him. He got Højlund, got Xerxes.
Hey, like Emery got some of his guys. He got in Pau Torres, didn't he? You know what I mean? Worked out well.
Straight away.
But he's good, Emery. We're dealing with those sort of not huge personalities. He's like
elevating everyone, mate. Elevating. Onana comes in. It's like, I don't know about his feet. I say, I don't know if he can play at that level, man. Looks fine to me. Tillemans got him on a free. Look at him now.
He was washed, wasn't he, at Leicester? He was like, he don't run. He don't run around.
Don't run. Everyone runs past him. Dan Bardell's like, he's like, listen. He's lost weight. He's running around the place. They get Ross Barkley in for really cheap from Luton yesterday, the other year, this summer. Look at him. They get signings like Maatsen to go. Actually, he's at Dortmund playing the Champions League final last year. He's doing well. Who's that? Is that Burnley? Look at McGinn. Buendia's been out for ages, but then now you look at Rodgers.
Watkins.
They brought him in. God. Watkins. Look at him. You bring in Rodgers from Middlesbrough. After youngster, and you're like, what's he going to be doing? They hold firm on Duran and say, listen. Wait. Like, wait. Obviously, it's Duran bashing down the door as well because he's good. But again, all of the decisions that they make. Konza, look at him now. England squad, solid, good centre half. I mean, Carlos, to be fair, was on his way out. That's a Gerrard signing, but
again, that's going from a Gerrard international Gerrard squad that's like relegation fodder. I remember one of the last games I remember watching of Villa under Gerrard. I think he played Frank Lampard's Everton. And, and it was like Gerrard versus Lampard. It was such a bad game of football. It was two horribly coached teams. And there is a difference, isn't there? There is a difference when you go, right, geez, Flex, the first game under Unai Emery at Villa was against us. And I remember that day we were like,
pumped us, mate.
And they beat us. And they beat us that day, not because he couldn't really implement his tactics that quickly, but he just got them going. He just got them going.
Just get in and get an instant impact. Exactly. And then remember, brought Moussa Diaby in last season, first game against Newcastle. He was wicked, 2-footed. And we're going, fucking hell, who's this guy? 50 million quid. One season, nah, mate, didn't work. See you later.
But the irony is also, with all of that, our record under Eric against Villa is actually pretty good. That's the only game he's lost. Against Unai,
I know.
So...
Owen Style Advisor says Sir Alex was completely changing the culture from drinking to youth. He made a massive scouting network and the board could see the changes. Big up, gents. And Jason says, only way I wouldn't mind Rue taking over is if his interim until the next manager. Then he can back down to assistant manager and get more experience. Yeah, I hear you on that. That's what we were basically saying a little while ago. Sunil says we are wasting time, money and points under Ten Hag. And Fat Four says, written off this season for my mental health. It's sad. Yeah. I wanted to ask just like a bit of a, different conversation. Roy Keane on the overlap was basically cussing Christian Eriksen, saying,
was he? I didn't see this.
Yeah, he basically said, and you guys get involved in the chat if you did see it, but I'll let you guys know what he was saying. It's a short clip. I didn't watch the whole thing. But basically, he was like, when Christian Eriksen against FC20 said, that team wanted it more than us.
I did kind
of
see that.
He's like, well, he said, you don't say it, you fool. You don't say that out loud. You don't accept that, this, that, and the other. I'm just giving him a bit of criticism. So he's an experienced player. You don't come out and I thought, fucking hell, Roy. I remember when you had your last fucking thing with MUTV when you was like, it's people in there. There's people in that changing room where it was shit. Yeah, it's people in that. But he's Roy Keane, isn't it? Like he's a multiple winner and this, that, and the other. But he's basically saying that Christian Eriksen shouldn't have said that. Don't admit the team basically don't want it and they're weak, etc., etc. Thoughts?
Well, it's interesting because it's not the first time a Man United team or players over the last few years have said that, is it? Remember when we lost against Forest last season, and it was before the game kicked off, and you had Morgan Gibbs-White, and they don't want to be here, they don't want it, or whatever.
And then it panned to Eriksen, ironically.
Ironically, it panned to Eriksen. But it's true. Like there are, sometimes, and this has been a problem actually, kind of post Sir Alex, that back in the day, Man United had won again at Old Trafford in particular. We'd won before the game even kicked off. Like we had, in the tunnel, you could tell they were just like, they're not winning today. We can win this. And for some reason, we've kind of continued that mentality when the quality isn't there. You know what I mean? So sometimes we do play these sort of lesser teams at home, and you can tell, like, you can go, United are kind of going through the motions a bit today. Like, and especially now with sort of in the Premier League, there's a lot of money going around. All teams have got good players. We do just sometimes go through the motions. Go, are you really trying that much today? Like, what are you doing? Are you just sort of, floating through the game essentially? And if the 20 game in particular, we did the match through a KG, and I was like, this game is just really, it's Europa League games. You don't have the atmosphere of a Champions League game, and it did feel like just a bunch of players where it was like, they're just sort of going through the motions, going through the motions, and that ain't enough. That isn't enough. And to be fair, like you said, Roy Keane, the irony being that he left Man United on the wave of doing an interview where he cussed out all of his players, but he is right in the sense of, like, I think Gary Neville said that too. Going, if you've got a senior player coming out saying they want it more than us, or they wanted it more than us at home, like that's just unacceptable.
Can't say that.
That's just you just can't. That's so wrong.
But he's being honest. He's being honest, and basically, it's a damning indictment of basically what it was like in the changing room then, which is more to the point. There's one thing saying Eriksen don't say that, kind of make us think that it's all right, make us think it was just an off night. Say, listen, we'll be better next week. That wasn't good enough. We'll raise our levels. Keane was basically saying that's what you should say. And there's two sides to it. I think as a pro or an ex-pro, you don't want to hear other pros saying that. So when he probably got back to the changing room after that interview, I guarantee you, Eric and maybe the comms team would have said, oh, Eric, Christian, you're giving them fuel. Try not to say that. And look, I'm hypothesizing here, and I'm not saying I'm not going to create a scenario that they had a big bust up, an argument for it. But Christian Eriksen's point could have been, well, listen, you put me out there after a shit thing, and I'm the one who gave away the ball for, I scored the goal and then gave away the ball. You put me out there for me to do. I'm giving my honest opinion. But they would have had a pushback to say, don't say that in public.
I saw this clip of Rio Ferdinand's interview with Phil Jones. Yes. And the timing of this was so good, particularly after the sort of excuses again after the Porto draw and the Villa draw of people going, good point. Yeah. And Phil Jones, he said, when it was one of his first games, they draw a game, goes in, and the room's quite downtrodden, whatever. And he said, because he's just come from Blackburn, he turns to someone and he goes, hey, that's good point, Matt. and they look at him and go,
not here, mate.
No, not at this club. Not at this club. We don't do good points or whatever. And I know that that's the Man United that will win in Premier League titles, and we're not that. But it does still. You should still have, in my opinion, Manchester United should still have that mentality of when you're dropping points. Like when we played Porto, we did drop points. We were 2-0 up. We dropped points in that game. And if you try and justify it as, yeah, but away, good point. Porto, it's difficult. Not very good away from home. You can't get into, because the thing is, once you allow that to be your mentality, it is then so difficult to get out of that, because the excuse is then only an arm distance away. If you've allowed your mind to even accept or partially accept that kind of thought process or that kind of mentality, then when it is getting tough, really easy to go back there, because you've already opened that door. Like you've got to be really careful if you open that door. And I thought it was really interesting to see Phil Jones say that, of just like, oh yeah, then I realized quickly, no, you don't do good points. You don't get, unless you're, competing for a title away from home versus, top of the league or whatever, and you get a point. All right, good point that. But anything else, no, that's not a good point.
No, it's not. And you can't, like you said, as soon as if you don't change that mindset and nip that in the bud really early, it starts to become a thing, doesn't it? Like you said, it starts to become your new culture. And that's what I'm saying about sort of normalizing sort of just like the cup runs. Like I get it. You can say Man United goes hand in hand with trophies. That's not what's wrong with that. I don't mean that. What I mean is by normalizing the second-rate cups, that's and enough. Like you're not that good in it. That's just enough. Like 1-2 trophies, mate. So what? And actually, the Phil Jones thing was interesting, because I saw a lot of people cussing him, with the Ranić thing, saying, "Oh, who does he think he is?" and this, that, and the other. Oh, he was rubbish. Always injured anyway. Who invited this guy to talk? Because he was basically saying Ranić embarrassed me at halftime against Liverpool, and I remember that game. And Phil Jones weren't great, but he weren't
great.
worse. Like they all weren't great. And when he sort of sticks up for himself, because people forget this as a pro, like when you've played the game at the top level, like you've been in big dressing rooms with big players, with big managers, and like you've been there and done it. Yeah, Phil Jones is like ridiculed for the back part of his Man United career, but let's not get it twisted. Like he played over 170 games for United. Well, over 200 really. But over 170 for United, or 169, should I say? And it's like, well, hold on a minute. If he's saying like, I looked at that game and I was actually fine, but I was scapegoated, like he probably was, because he's the easiest one, isn't it? He's the one, you're not really in the team, you're always injured. Let me just hook you off and stuff. And he's defending himself, and people are like, Phil Jones, man's won a Premier League, mate. Man's been a bit like he's been there with big players.
The thing is with Phil Jones is like there was when he got, was it like a 5-year contract extension from Ed Woodward in 2019, and he played like the 3 games or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, but that's typical Man United, wasn't it? It was let's lock down people. They're an asset, and he shouldn't have been there as long as he was there. But
no way.
You have to be careful with him in the sense that you can't wash away that, well, he did play under Sir Alex. He did win a Premier League title under Sir Alex, and he played quite a lot actually.
Yeah.
In those seasons. obviously absolutely decimated by injuries. Again, shouldn't have been at United as long as he was, certainly towards the latter end. That sort of last, like 5 years, basically. Shouldn't have been anywhere near it. But that doesn't invalidate some of the stories he's telling about being in those winning dressing rooms. Because, he was part of losing dressing rooms, but he's also at the tail end of some very successful dressing rooms too. So to kind of wash away what he's saying, going, yeah, but he was always injured. Well,
so he's in there.
He's got first-hand information.
Exactly. First-hand information, like you said, whether you're playing or not, you could observe what's happening in the change room and give a recollection of top-level football and what was going. Like you said, when Jose came in, he was like, "Oh, fucking hell. Like, there's butterflies, mate. Like, because he's worked with all the big players. He's done this, he's done that." And it's like, yeah, so let's explore that. What was that like? Because it ended shit. But look, as soon as he came in, there was that allure. It's fucking Jose Mourinho. It was interesting to see Rio sort of say sorry to him as well for that time when he cussed him out, saying he should leave. So I was thinking, is he going to do that? And then when Ollie, pushed back in the presser, and then Rio got the call. So he apologized to him face to face for that as well. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Yeah, that's good.
Right, finish off on the super chats. Fat Four, read that one. Dwayne says football gods offer Ten Hag, gets 13th and wins Europa. Man City loses 115 case, relegated 20th, but Arsenal win the treble. Do you accept or reject? Football gods offer Ten Hag 13th in Europa. City get relegated, but Arsenal win the treble. Oof.
I cared not to comment because that scenario feels impossible. That scenario feels impossible. Not maybe the first two parts of it, by the way.
I was going to say though, like I tell you what, mate, I tell you what, Europa League and Man City get relegated, but Arsenal win the treble.
So we'd be in the Champions League. Does Ten Hag keep his job in that scenario? By the way,
yeah, hopefully not. But you can't have Arsenal win the treble because they would have done the Invincibles and the treble. You never hear the end of it.
They never.
But Man City have done the treble now. The treble's almost like, is it becoming a bit normal?
They won't win the treble. Arsenal won't win the treble.
No way. Anyway, okay. Well, we'll slightly pass that one. Sorry, Dwayne. Yeah. Footy Hub says Erik ten Hag needs to be more ruthless with his decisions, especially in game management, and kill that idea of one size fits all man management of his. And Stephen Lee says, do you think this is a consistent top four squad? It simply isn't. Worst thing that happened was INEOS for Glazers staying. Interesting. And Footy Hub says, this is a top four squad, in my opinion. Literally the opposite to Stephen. They're just dancing to different tunes on the pitch, and that's on Erik ten Hag. That bit I do agree with as well. Yes. Guys, big up to yourselves. Trinity -1 is coming later on. KG, I think, is in Saudi.
Is it Riyadh?
He's in Riyadh, doing up Saudi Riyadh season for Batavia of Bivol, as usual, when the big boxing events are on. So me and Owen will see you this evening, 6 p.m. And yeah, big up to you guys. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are out of here. Take care. Peace.